Welcome back to the Female CEO Summit. I'm your host, Janine Worth, trauma expert, helping female entrepreneurs to heal so that they can have the spectacular success that they desire. So joining me today is the global dating and relationship coach, Sami Wunder. Sami is a leading international level dating and relationship expert, and she helps high-achieving, powerful women to attract their dream man and create a deeply intimate and connected relationship. Welcome, Sami. I'm so happy that you made the time to join us.
Thank you for having me. So wonderful to be here.
So before we get into all the juicy love and relationship advice, please tell us a bit about your own entrepreneurial journey, as you didn't actually start out as a coach.
No, I did not start out as a coach. I am a master's degree in public policy and I'm a gold medalist economist by training. And I was the classic high-flying, successful international development consultant. And I was making good money. I was, having a good job. But at some deep level, I didn't feel like it was my thing. When you are good at something, but you still know there is something more waiting for you and you don't know what it is. But I think being in the international development sector as a consultant, it was clear to me that my desire was to make an impact in the world, like bring my gifts to the world. Now, of course, when I sat behind the desk and wrote reports for the International Labour Organization and talked about social protection in Africa, I just hoped that someday some child or some community in Africa would be impacted by that report that I wrote. So you couldn't see direct impact of the work you were doing, and that is what my soul was thirsting for. Now, very interestingly, at the same time when I was working in the international development sector as a consultant, I also had my personal life in a bit of a, I wouldn't call it traumatic state, but in a miserable state. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that, because on the personal front, I found it really hard to attract a good man and to keep a good man. And this was so confusing, because at an objective level, I was good looking, reasonably good looking. May I say that about myself? Thank you. I was reasonably good looking. I was successful. I was intelligent. I was honest. I was hardworking. I was sincere. I was sensitive. So objectively, it just didn't make sense that a woman like me would have an issue attracting a man. But it was happening, and it was darn confusing, and it was painful. So the love life just looked like, you meet men at parties, you think something's there sparks, you like someone, and then he doesn't follow up, so you follow up, and then he avoids you, and then you invite him to a party because maybe you didn't show you were interested enough, and then he shows up, but he shows up with another woman, and it's like, what's going on here, God? So I would say that there was one particular man that I thought was my soulmate, and we dated intensely for 2 months, that I felt was my one, that I'm going to marry him, this is going to work out. It was going so well, and he was really into me, at least that's what I saw. He was coming strong at me, and it felt good, it felt happy. And then suddenly 2 months later, there was like this deathly silence, and for 10 days, there was no connection. And I tried to sort of hold myself back and, give him space, and did all kinds of talks with my girlfriends. And they said, you should reach out. Men like to see that you're also interested in them. But my heart was saying something's really wrong here. And, I reached out, and then I just got like this text response saying, you're a lovely woman, but I don't think I can give you what you want. And it's so easy to talk about it now, but back then it felt like the rug being pulled out from under your feet, because it sort of confirmed my deepest fears. At one level, something is wrong with you, because that's where your mind goes when you don't get the success that you're looking for, whether it's your career or your love life. That's a very human response. Like, maybe something is wrong with me. And at a second level, I saw that if I didn't do something about it, like I did not take this problem head on or what was going on, and maybe my dream of having a family and having children may never come true. So it was like me staring into the darkness and recognizing for the first time that something is happening here. There is a pattern here that I need to figure out. And if I don't figure this out, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. So long story short, I figured it out. I'm a good student. You know, once I decide to learn something, I know how to learn it and master it. And I mastered it in my life. I got certified out of curiosity, out of fun, because I decided to get into romantic relationships and study them. So I read the books from the best of experts. You know, there's so much superficial advice around love life and romantic relationships on the internet. And then when you go deeper, you realize it's so much not about the superficial stuff. It goes so deep into self-love, self-worth, boundaries, understanding men, understanding how attraction works, understanding how so many successful women, why they struggle. You know, it can be so confusing. But when I started to engage with the work, with the materials, and what I teach my clients today, it was like, wow, a whole new world open to me. And I could see that the challenges I was facing in my love life, there were solutions to it. It was easy to figure out where I was going wrong. And then, of course, you know, it developed, I would say, my dissatisfaction at my current job, combined with my mastery at what I was doing in my own love life. I attracted my husband, Christopher, pretty much 6 months into doing this work with myself. He proposed to me within 9 months. We were married in 14 months. And ever since then, you know, 6 years plus happily married, enjoying motherhood to little Aaron. So I figured it out for myself. And then I saw that, you know what, I'm not the only woman struggling. There are so many like me who keep quiet about it, who look very perfect on the top, everything's tip top, nails manicured, pedicure feet, perfect hair, red lipstick, and still feeling sad and lonely inside. And these women need to hear the messages I learned. These women need to know the secrets I know, and that have helped over 135 of my clients now go out to find their soulmate in the last 3.5 years. And tremendous results. We're so happy. We're so proud. So that's been my journey, and it's been phenomenal. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
Wow, that's amazing. And I love the fact that you've lived through that experience yourself, because I just believe that brings a much deeper understanding than trying to learn something from a textbook without ever really having experienced it yourself.
Absolutely. And I have to say, the more I work with ambitious women, the more I mean, my clients now range from CEOs to celebrity TV stars to, you know, really high-flown attorneys and entrepreneurs. You know, I keep getting a deeper and deeper understanding. It never stops. And I don't stop learning. Every time I am in interaction with a client, you know, I learn what's going on for her, and then I incorporate it in my work, because I think this experience is so powerful. Self-experience, but also being able to learn from the experiences of what challenges your clients are really facing. Not what you think they're facing, but what they are really facing.
Yes, I love that. So I've noticed recently in the online space that there's this growing awareness about feminine and masculine energy. And I know that you're big on helping women reconnect with their feminine energy to attract and keep romantic love. So let's start with the concept of feminine energy. What is it actually? And what are some of the myths and misconceptions associated with this term?
Okay, so I love talking about this. It just makes me so happy to talk about this. So feminine energy, firstly, is not anything that a strong, smart, successful woman has to be scared of. Because that was my first response. It was like, oh my God, am I going to be asked to wear a dress, have long hair, and wear long earrings, and speak in a soft voice, and never have an opinion? Now, this is the classic strong, ambitious woman's response to feminine energy, and it is based on stereotypes that have been propagated by those who don't really understand what feminine energy truly is. So let's get to what feminine energy truly is. To understand what feminine energy truly is, we need to see and understand the fact that both men and women have both masculine and feminine energies. So it's not a sexist term. It is not about a woman being in some kind of traditional role as most people associate it with. Like the minute we hear masculine and feminine, we go masculine man, feminine woman, sexist, right? It's not true. It's not true, because both man and woman have both energies within them, right? So if a man would come to me and he's an alpha male, I'll tell him to connect a little more with his feminine energy, because that will help him relate with his wife's feelings and emotions much better than an alpha masculine can. Now, when a woman comes to me and she's in hyper masculine energy, I'm going to ask her to just get a little more in touch with her feminine energy, because that's going to calm her masculine down. So this is not about gender typical roles. This is about understanding that both men and women have both energies. And this is about understanding which energy to use where. Mm-hmm. So I think the next message, and I will come to what it is exactly, but I want to first break away the stereotypes. I want to break away from the myths. So the second thing is that when women come to me, and I work with very high-powered women, they think that they have to change themselves, and they think that they have to, tone down their masculine and leave their power behind in order to become a more feminine woman. And this is so untrue. And I can understand why this myth is there, because when I first learned this myself, I read a lot of material that said to me, be more feminine, and nobody talked about my masculine. Now, I have built a 7-figure company in 3 years, and I can tell you that I just didn't do it only in feminine energy. I used my freaking masculine energy to get where I am today, yeah? And that meant I owned my masculine. Yeah, I owned my masculine, and masculine is what? Doing energy. Masculine is the capacity to take action, the capacity to decide, the capacity to organize, the capacity to plan, right? So everything Janine has done to make this interview possible has needed action, masculine, planning, organizing, yeah? So it's very important that highly ambitious, successful women understand that we're not going to ask them to tone down their masculine. What we're going to ask them to do is to use their masculine to get ahead, to love their masculine to get ahead. But when they come home or when they go on a date, now it's time to switch it off. Which brings me to feminine energy. So feminine energy is that side of you that is not the doing side. It is the being side. Now, being is effortless. Janine smiling is effortless. That's her being. Yeah? She's not doing anything, she's just being. It's non-effortful. Yeah? So feminine is being energy in its primary definition. It's the lack of action. It's the being. It's just there. It just is. It's essence. It's intrinsic. It's when a woman smiles, she's not doing anything, but she's magnetic. You want to come towards her. You get pulled towards her. That's feminine. It's magnetic. It's a vibration, and it appears from within you. It's just your being energy. Now, at a very important level, it's also important to understand that it's receiving energy. So you have masculine doing and giving, and feminine being able to lean back, as I like to call it, and receive. Yeah, so a lot of my clients, they're all about giving to men. Let's, what can I do for him? Should I pay the bill? Should I get him a gift? Should I buy him a shirt? What can I do for him to make him happy? And what they don't understand is that in romantic love, if you want to attract a masculine partner who has a lot of giving energy, providing energy, doing energy, you've got to be in your feminine. Why? Because polar opposite energies attract. masculine man will not be attracted to a woman who's primarily acting in her love life in her masculine energy. He doesn't care if you're acting like a masculine in your work life. He doesn't care about that. But when he experiences you, in what energy are you? If you're in your feminine, a masculine man will be attracted to you. If you're in your masculine, a more feminine energy man will be attracted to you. It's really simple. And we're not judging men here, and we're not judging women here. We're not saying feminine men are bad and boring and beta. I don't like to use those labels and terms. I actually believe sometimes for women who are so high-powered and so in their masculine, it's actually good to have a more relaxed feminine energy man who can just go along with whatever they're doing, and he doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't matter if they're happy. Right? But what I've noticed in my career and in my serving over 3,000 premium clients by now is that women often are unhappy with passive men. Women want their men to be masculine. They want to be thrown into the bed like a caveman and be desired and be made love to and be brought gifts and flowers. Now that is a masculine man. He's giving, he's coming towards you, penetrative energy. And for that kind of man to be attracted to you as a woman, you need to be in your feminine. So this was one of the biggest secrets that I learned, that I was using my masculine both in my work life and in my love life. And it was so easy once the switch flipped, once I got it, I realized I could still do my doing action at work, but in my love life, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to relax. I'm going to let him do. I'm going to let him please me. I'm going to let him do the hard work. In my love life, I'm going to be the queen on the throne. And it's amazing. It's amazing how powerfully this works, because it's not a concept that I built. What I'm teaching is instinct. I am teaching science of attraction. And it is true at all levels, irrespective of culture, irrespective of where you come from. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. And this is the science of sexual tension, polarity of energies.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And I love the fact that you said that you don't try and get women to tone down their masculine energy, because I love my masculine energy. I am an action taker. I've always been very driven, leadership, results oriented. So if someone had to tell me to try and change that, I would be resistant to that, because I wouldn't be where I am or making the change that I want to make in the world if I didn't have that driving, ambitious part of my personality.
And if you tone down your masculine, you actually get the stereotypical myth of the feminine energy, which is the doormat.
Oh.
She is so helpless. She can't do anything for herself. She's always crying. She's always the victim. That's where the stereotype is born from. So in my work, we show you, the recipe to not be a doormat is to actually own your empowered masculine energy and to make your life so fun and so fulfilling that a man will be lucky to enter it. Now, when he does decide to enter it, that's when you go like, relaxed, feminine. I don't do the work in love. But I do a lot of work on myself. I do a lot of work to get the best job, to have my best life, to look my best, to be in my best shape. So actually, it's the dance of the masculine and feminine inside of us that makes us truly empowered in our lives. So just having one energy is a disbalance. Yeah. Anytime it's a disbalance, whether it's only feminine or it's only masculine, it is still a disbalance. It's the healthy coming together of both energies that actually makes you a balanced individual and helps you have it all. Amazing love and amazing success in your career.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So why do so many strong and successful women struggle in love, and what can they do about it?
Okay, that's a long answer. You're talking to an expert about what they can do about it. So I think I'd just like to say a lot of the women are struggling today, strong, successful women are struggling in love because they like to make things happen. And they're so addicted and used to making things happen that they also do that with men. Now, when you do that with men, you just learned about the law of sexual polarity. You're going to attract passive, laid-back men. And then at some point, you're going to get angry and resentful with them that they don't have their shit together and that they never do anything. So you have to intentionally cultivate your feminine energy. I'm not talking about toning down your masculine. I'm talking about toning up your feminine energy, cultivating your feminine energy, and bringing that to your love life. And that's the game changer. How can they help it? Cultivate work. There are so many things I teach in my work that help you cultivate this magnetism that women are already born with. So it's not something like you have to learn from the outside. It's something you have to return to because it's your essence.
That's so interesting. So I know that you teach the concept of rotational dating. Can you tell us what that is and how does that help single women who are dating?
Rotational dating is a controversial concept. It got me on Time magazine and Forbes magazine and got me beaten up on Daily Mail. It got me on national TV because people were so curious of it. And honestly, it's not at all as slutty as it sounds, because most people go, rotational dating? Should you just rotational dating? That means rotational sleeping, right? Because if you're dating, you must be sleeping. And it's funny because as an expert, I don't associate the two things together. If I'm dating you, it doesn't mean I'm sleeping with you. Why on hell would you assume that you've paid 2 dinners for me and I'm going to sleep with you, right? Like, I'm looking for my soulmate love, and I am going to meet many, many men till I know that, I know what I want, firstly. And secondly, why would I settle for sleeping with someone unless I'm absolutely sure that they are the one for me, right? So a lot of people immediately associate rotational dating with rotational sleeping. It is not the same thing, right? So what is rotational dating? It's dating more than one man at the same time and keeping your options open till you have the commitment you desire. Now, for different women, that looks different, right? So for me, it was till I was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing other men till I was engaged. I was not sleeping with other men till I was engaged. I was seeing other men till I was engaged. And I was drinking coffee with them. I was going on connection dates. Of course, towards the last 3-4 months, Chris was booking all my time. So it was a theoretical concept. He just wouldn't leave me alone. So it was no more practical. But at the beginning of seeing him, I was seeing more than one man at the same time. And it's very helpful for women because what I have seen now over some years of doing this is that so many women start talking to a man and only talk to one man, and then get all their hopes pinned on him, get all their expectations pinned on him, and then they get really badly disappointed if it doesn't work out. And for a woman who's in her childbearing years, this can be costly. I can tell you it's costly. You speak to one man, you see him for 3 months, he breaks up, he disappears, he ghosts on you, or he tells you he's not ready for what you're looking for. Then you have a 2-month recovery phase. Then you have a restart phase of again going online, again speaking to one man, getting your hopes up. And before you know, 3 years have gone and you've just seen 3 men and it's not worked out. And you're like, oh my God. So rotational dating helps you get out of that scarcity mode and actually realize that there can be so many options on the menu at the same time that you can choose from if you open your heart to it and if you engage with the option for it. Because most women just judge themselves and judge the concept as an immediate response. But it's actually meant to empower the woman in love. It's actually meant to create more options for you and reduce this feeling of scarcity and treating the man you're seeing as the last man on the planet, right? So it's a very empowered process. And as I say, you rotational date till you have the commitment you want. For some women, they date till engagement. For some women, they date till the man asks for exclusivity and girlfriend, boyfriend. And that's fine, whatever works for you. But don't get exclusive with a man until you're 100% sure this is the right guy for you and you have the commitment you need in your life to feel safe and happy with him, right? This is what rotational dating is about.
I love that because I've seen that before in my circle of friends where they get really clingy, needy. It's not pretty to watch, and I'm sure it really freaks the men out because it's like, whoa, just calm down.
Honestly, I don't judge these women. I can really understand why. You know, anyone would get insecure if they're pinning all their hopes on one person.
Okay.
Anyone would get insecure, right? Like, it's just so much pressure and expectation that is on the man, and it's like we so quickly attach ourselves. So this is an attachment style, and anyone would get insecure because guess what? The man is not completely in, because men bond over a period of time. I teach this in my work that men don't bond with intensity, they bond with intimacy over time. So unless you are at least around the 3 month mark, you can know that no matter how strong the man is coming at you, it doesn't mean much. He's just being in the moment. This is not about the future. This is not about wife. This is not about girlfriend. This is just about she's hot. Let's go get her, right? So women need to understand that if they pin their hopes so quickly on one man and get attached this way, they're going to start sensing the man's vibration that he's not completely in, right? Because he's not. In 10 days, 20 days, he's not. No matter what he says, he's not. Don't believe him. Don't believe him. Don't say it to him. He probably doesn't know it himself, but don't believe him, right? So it's the woman starts to feel he's withdrawing, he's seeing other girls, or a picture comes up on Facebook with another woman he's cycling with, and you just go like, oh, yeah, and that's over attachment, over investment. And rotational dating, seeing more than one man at the same time, actually helps you manage your emotional investment because you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You divide your eggs in different baskets. So you divide your focus on different men, you divide your attention to different men, and it prevents you from just going full on in hyper focused, laser focused on one man, which is actually very scary and pressurizing for men and makes men run away.
Yes. So let's talk about the intimate part. What is your advice to women about sex if they want to do this rotational dating?
Well, hold it out for at least 3 months. It's not because I'm traditional conservative. I love sex. I am a big go for have lots of sex. But it's because we get attached. It's oxytocin and hormonal biology in play. Not so. Hold it out for 3 months. If men move too fast on you, say, I like to take it slow. I'm so flattered, but I like to take it slow. If someone doesn't respect your boundaries, please let them go. You should never have sex under pressure. You should never have sex to please a man. You can have sex to please yourself, and in that case, be safe. That is important. Like, make sure you're safe. But ideally, if you're looking to attract your soulmate, ideally, if you're looking to, play the long-term game and not the short-term game, then holding the sex out for 3 months is important. And you will see that most men disappear by that time. Only the real ones will stay. Most men who are in for the sex, most men who are in for a quick fling, a quick affair, just want to get into your pants, they will disappear. If you don't sleep with them by the 3 month mark, and a man is still efforting and working for you, now that's a man. That's a man. That man is showing some good signs there, right? And if you are beyond the 3 month mark and you have, let's say, 2 serious men in rotation, it's just really important that you let the man you decide to sleep with, A, know that you're seeing another man non-sexually, and B, let the other man know that you are sexually with this man and this is what's going on for you. Now, it might immediately bring up some fear within the women when they hear this. And I really want to emphasize that you don't have to go so far. Rotational dating is an attitude. It's an attitude of openness. So a lot of my clients don't feel comfortable sleeping with one man and then still seeing another man. It brings up all kinds of complicated feelings like guilt and am I being unfaithful? Am I leading this man on? So of course, honesty and transparency is really important if you are reaching that 3-month mark with 2 people. Most women don't reach that 3-month mark with 2 people. They just reach it with 1 man. Now, in that case, if you don't feel comfortable rotational dating, what you do is you adopt the attitude and energy of rotational dating, which means that you keep some evenings off just for yourself. You keep some evenings off just to date your friends. You keep some evenings just to date yourself. You go on trips by yourself. So it's an attitude of not entirely focusing on the man, right? And you don't always just have to have another man in the picture in order to do that for yourself. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, the idea is to keep the focus on yourself. And the idea is to still be open and flirty with other men so that you don't forget your diva powers. Because so many times women get exclusive and then they forget their diva-ness. They forget their power as a woman. They forget that they're desirable, and then they get again hyper-focused on one man. Yeah. Now, being able to do harmless flirting with other men, flirting with the world. When I'm on the street, I flirt with the trees, I flirt with children, I flirt with puppies, because it's an attitude, right? It's not about the men. It's about this desirability factor and being turned on within yourself all the time so that you can take it home to your man and you're not in this needy, clingy energy that so many of us get into when we are looking at our men for attention and validation. So it's an attitude, it's an energy. And if you don't feel comfortable, of course, I have entire programs on my website that teach you how to do this like a total diva. But if you still, at a superficial level, don't feel like this is for you, then don't worry, because you can do this rotational dating right at the start of your dating phase. So have lots of people in your funnel, in your pool, and then 2-3 will get filtered out, live the 3-month mark, and most people will get filtered out by that time. So you'll probably be left with 1 or 2 men, and then you just navigate that through the attitude of rotational dating. It's also okay at this point to let 1 man go and say, I'm going to be exclusive with this person. If things change, I will let you know. Lots of love.
No, I love that. Going out, especially with girlfriends and that, instead of sitting at the phone desperately waiting for a phone call.
Yeah.
So with me being a trauma expert, I have to ask you if you believe that childhood conditioning and unresolved trauma plays a role in our relationships. Have you seen that show up for your clients?
Absolutely. I am so careful. I can't be perfect. I don't teach perfectionism, but I'm so careful with Aaron and how I'm bringing him up with Chris. Like, we're human beings, and if he's really getting on our nerves, we scream once, and then you can see the little one shaking and getting afraid, and you're like, oh God, sorry, you're small, no, I can't do this to you. And it's because I see this so often with my clients. And, for me, when I teach this work, I want to help women see what's possible for them. And so much is possible for them. I went from struggling in my love life to having this amazing marriage, enjoying motherhood, to creating a 7-figure company. And I am so excited about sharing the message of what is possible for women. But when women have a loaded past, I find that they are so circling in the same past energies of the past, they find it hard to see what's possible for them. And that makes me really sad. Because if you don't see what's possible for you, there is no way to attract it into your life. Yeah. And so with some of my clients, they get results so fast because they come to me and they go like, man, I was looking for this. How fun. And now I'm just going to go out, date like a diva. And, they get results in 6 months, less than a year. Soulmate is there, happy engagement. And then there are some clients, when they see this work, they find it really hard to implement. And then when they work with me, we go back into their past and we see that, wow, she is afraid to speak her boundaries because when she was a little girl and she asked for something, she was told to shut down and keep quiet, and her feelings were judged. Or, someone who's been had a daddy who was violent, or and so the child doesn't feel safe, the woman doesn't feel safe around men. She feels physically, there's an anxiety in her body that she can't relax around men. So does it play a role? It absolutely does. And I'm so glad that there are experts like you out there who can help people with this. I definitely help women. I am not a clinical trauma expert. I'm a love expert. So I give women the tools to move forward. I definitely help them make peace with their past. I definitely help them. I believe I help with non-clinical conditions, right? So I can help heal the inner child. I can help you have an authentic voice. I can help you have your boundaries, but I do not deal with clinical conditions.
Okay, that's great. So you're known as the Get the Ring coach, but let's change gears and talk about marriage and long-term relationships, as you've saved many marriages from the brink of divorce. What is the biggest mistake you see married women or those in long-term relationships making?
I think it again has to do with masculine energy and taking control in the relationship.
Okay.
I have seen this also personally with my own clients, and I have seen this with myself, that the more successful we become and the more, our ego is rising. I can do this, I can do so much, I'm so amazing. The more we have a tendency to overtake our men and like sort of try to decide for them or try to correct them or try to criticize them for how they're doing something. And all of that is masculine energy, and it pushes men away. So I would say the rising back of masculine energy in the relationship is very dangerous for marriages.
Okay. So now, besides being happily married and a mom, you're also a successful CEO who's built up the 7-figure business within 3 years. Do you believe our love relationship can affect our performance in business as entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Hell yes. Absolutely. I mean, I would not have been able to have the success I have if I did not have the love and support of my husband behind me. Like, this is my safe place. No matter what happens out there in the world, I know I got a man who adores me, and I know I got my little one who loves his mama, and they are my safe world. And they give me the strength to go out there and make things happen, and not care about the opinions of others and not care about what others think, and to actually live my gifts in the world with courage and confidence. Now, when we are personally unhappy, it is bound to impact our business. It is bound to impact our career because we're personally unhappy. I mean, I don't know how else to say this, but this is like your relationship with yourself and the relationship with your loved ones is one of the most important, factors of satisfaction in life. Yeah. And you can't neglect a hurting heart and create a happy business or create a happy career. Because at the end of the day, what is your business? Your business is your energy. Yes. Your business is your vibration. And an unhappy heart and an unloved heart or a dissatisfied heart is vibrating lower frequency emotions, is vibrating sadness, is vibrating dissatisfaction, is vibrating anger, is vibrating resentment. And that's going to show through. That's going to show through. So it's not uncommon when women work with me that they see rises in their business. They see rises in their money-making capacity. They get promotions. They get, they attract miracles. And that's because they're vibrationally upping up when they're working with me. So absolutely, yes.
Okay. So with you being a relationship expert, how do you manage to keep the passion alive in your own marriage?
Well, I have to say it is a very intentional walk. Yeah, it is not something that happens by itself. I have to confess this. And I think any successful woman would say yes to that. So we do it, and we do a really good job at it, Chris and I, but it's intentional. And that is the word. It has to be intentional, because with these levels of success, responsibility, power, money, you have so many balls you're juggling. Motherhood, I think that's the hardest training school I've ever been through. Yeah. It's so easy for your relationship to fall to the side. And your relationship is like any like a tree, like any plant, it needs water, it needs sunlight, it needs nourishment. And you are the nourishment, and the connection and time you spend with your partner is that nourishment. And if you don't give it, it will die. It will die, right? So it's so important to be intentional about your love life. It's so important to be intentional about your relationship. So how do Chris and I do it? Well, we never wake up in the morning without we never leave the bed without kissy. So we always have long, nice kisses in bed. So that's a moment of connection. We like to have our coffee together, wake up a little early before the little one wakes up so that we can enjoy a coffee together, watch the sun, in the horizon in the morning. And then he leaves for work. He never leaves without giving me a kiss and I love yous, because words are also powerful affirmations. And they nourish the relationship. When he's back home, it is still a bit of a chaos, because then Aaron comes back home from school and he's still small, so kindergarten, and then he needs all our attention. So it doesn't matter that Chris is there or I'm there, like whoever's there has to give him all his attention, and he really creates a ruckus if the phone is around us, so we just have to give him attention. And then it's bedtime, story time, and then we're both like, and then it's connection time again. So that's the time to watch movies. That's the time to make love. Sometimes we even have to call the babysitter so that we can have an evening by ourselves. So we actually have a ritual around calling the babysitter twice a week so that we can go out on magical dates, as I like to call it. So these are all intentional exercises that we do. It doesn't just happen by itself. So there's organization and planning in spending time together.
Perfect. So what is the best business advice that you've ever received?
Follow your heart and create a business that is true to your soul, not what the experts say it should be like.
I love that. So you've very kindly given both our single as well as our married viewers a gift. Can you please tell us a bit about that?
With a lot of pleasure. So for the single women, you have 2 gifts. One is my soulmate attraction guide. So I have a trademarked Wunder soulmate attraction method that I take my VIP clients through. And what this guide does is that it shows you my 6-step framework. And you will, of course, need to do the programs and find me and work with me if you want to go into the details of the 6 steps. But it's a good framework to show you what possibly might be going on or what challenge might be going on in your single life that's keeping you single as an otherwise smart and amazing and successful woman. The second free gift that we have for our clients is actually a video. And it is a beautiful video on feminine energy and how you can use it to attract soulmate love. So it's actually going to tell you deeper details about feminine energy, and it's going to tell you what are the myths about feminine energy and how you can incorporate more of it in your life.
That sounds amazing. And I think that's going to be really helpful to a lot of these ambitious women who have that drive and need to learn how to step back in their love lives. You've also...
Step back in a good way, yeah. Step back in a good way.
Yes.
Yes, for women in relationships and married women, we have 2 gifts again. Woohoo! The first one is Bring Him Close. It's a guide that we are giving you, and it's going to point out the biggest mistake we see women making in their married lives and in their relationships. So just by making sure that you're not doing this one thing that we are mentioning in the guide, we can quite literally turn around the entire energetic dynamic of your relationship. So that's the Bring Him Close guide. And it shows you what to stop doing that pushes him away. And the second gift that we're giving you is a very powerful video training from my Inner Circle coaching program for married women. It's about overgiving. And it's about how to tune down your overgiving, turn down your overgiving, so that you can start receiving more love in your relationship, so that your man, your husband, your boyfriend can step up more and be more of a man in your life.
That sounds perfect. And then there's also a bonus for the viewers that actually buy the summit. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm actually very excited for the value women are going to get out of this, because we are not just giving away something, we're giving actually some of our core trainings for everyone who is going to dive into purchasing this summit. So we are giving a video training of 60 minutes on boundaries.
Oh.
Boundaries for dating and boundaries for women in relationships. What that looks like, what are boundaries, why you need them, how a man's perception of you changes when you are a woman who can say no easily, why it makes you more expensive in his mind, why it makes you more rare and desirable in his mind. Because so many women are afraid to say no because they're afraid of conflict. But actually, in my work, I teach you how it spurs up attraction. Can you believe that? Drawing your boundaries makes you more attractive to men, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, or any man you're dating. So we're giving away that free training for your clients who buy the summit. So we're giving it to them on boundaries.
Thank you so much. And that's a really important topic that I see comes up in all areas of life. So you have a free Facebook group called the Wunder Divas. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I would love to. So everyone who is excited to join a community of high-powered diva women who are all doing the Wunder work, you're welcome to join us on Wunder Divas. So you just literally have to search for it on Facebook. It's WUNDER, Wunder Divas. And it's a private community, private Facebook group with over 12,500 women on it right now. And all are doing my programs, all are doing the work. And what we love about that place, what we love about that group is that it's safe, it's non-judgmental, it's private, and that it's a community, that women really care for each other. Because what I have noticed, even now as a successful entrepreneur, is that smart and successful women can get lonely. And that it's so fun to have community, it's so fun to have sisterhood, it's so good to know that you're not alone in the challenges you're facing, and that there are other people who are facing the same challenges and doing the same work as you and on the same journey as you. So that's what Wunder Divas is all about. It's not a replacement for coaching, it's not a replacement for it's not a replacement for working the programs, but it's a great community for inspiration. It's a great community to also get some of my YouTube videos, some free nuggets about my work. So it's a great place to be. We love it.
That sounds amazing. So for anyone that has watched this, how can they contact you if they want to work with you?
So I think you can join Wunder Divas and send us a message at support@samiwunder.com. Really easy, support@samiwunder.com. Reach out and send us an email and let us know how we can help you. And one of my team members will be happy to book a call. If you're lucky, you even get to speak to me. Yay! And otherwise, of course, my website, www.samiwunder.com, is where you find all the diva nuggets.
Thank you so much. We will definitely link your group and your website underneath your interview. But thank you so much for taking the time and giving us all these little nuggets of information. I'm sure that's going to be really, really helpful to everyone watching, whether they are looking for love, ready to get engaged, or in a committed relationship. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. So fun talking to you.
Thank you. So do make sure to join me for the next conversation with the lovely Tisha and Candice Matthew, better known as the LOA twins, as we talk about the law of attraction and how to manifest successfully. Until then, bye now.